So first we're going to make the dough or the puff pastry. So here I've taken about 3/4 of a cup of plain flour or maida, added just about a pinch of salt, about 1/4 teaspoon. I'm going to mix the two well, and then I'm going to add a little water at a time and just form a very firm dough, like you would for chapatis or puris. So just knead the dough well. And then I'm just going to add a few drops of oil just to smoothen out the dough, and keep kneading it till it becomes nice and firm. You can also use ready-made puff pastry if you're in a hurry to make this, but this also works really well. And now we're just going to let the dough rest for 5 minutes. After that, we're going to use a little bit of clarified butter, a little bit of flour, and a rolling surface. And we're just going to make 3 rotis like this. So I've made the first one. Now I'm just going to make the second roti. We just need 3 rotis for this dough. And once the rotis form, I'm just going to add few drops of clarified butter or ghee. I'm going to spread it around evenly. Then I'm going to place the first roti and set that aside. And then I'm going to roll out the third roti. I'm going to apply the clarified butter, and then I'm going to place the first 2 rotis on top. Then I'm going to dust some flour, and I'm going to roll this as thin as possible. Then I'm just going to roll it up like this. Again, dust some flour and roll it out as thin as possible. And then we're just going to fold it in this manner and set it aside for 5 to 10 minutes to rest. Now we're going to prepare the onion filling. So here I've taken 1 teaspoon of oil. I'm going to fry 1 green chili, saute the chili well. To that, I'm now going to add 3 medium-sized onions that I've sliced. We're going to fry this also really well for about 5 minutes till the onions become nice and soft and translucent. So fry the onions really nice, because this is what's going to give the real flavor to this patties. Then I'm going to add a little bit of sugar, say about a tablespoon of sugar, and mix everything really well. So now they have softened a bit. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon each of coriander, cumin and pepper powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of garam masala. Mix everything really well together, and also add a little pinch of salt. You're going to fry this till everything comes together and it looks nice and caramelized. So now our onion mixture is all ready. Now I have also boiled 3 eggs. I will leave a video at the end of how to boil eggs. And here I've just cut the eggs up. Now I've just heated my oven to 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes, and I'm also going to grease my baking tray with some ghee. I also have beaten up 1 egg for the egg wash. This is our onion filling. These are the boiled eggs. Now I'm just going to roll my puff pastry as thin as possible. And then we're going to cut it up into 6 parts because we have 6 halves. Then you're going to place the slices. I'm just starting off with 2 on the surface on the baking tray. Then you're just going to place a little bit of the onion mixture. Place 1 half with the yolk facing downward, and just bring the ends together like this. And just flatten up the sides. And bring all the center together like this. So I'm just showing you another one. So in this way, I have placed the 6 a little far apart from each other, and I'm just going to give them an egg wash with 1 beaten egg. We're going to bake this at 180 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes till they're nice and golden brown in color. Let them come to room temperature before you cut them. So watch the video till the end because I'll show you how to boil eggs to get nice hard boiled eggs. So these delicious egg patties are really great with some ketchup or some chili sauce, and you can make them hot again in your microwave. So I'm just cutting up one just to show you all the inside. So you have the lovely onion caramelized layer and the boiled egg on top. So I hope you try out this recipe. So friends, let's start with the samosa recipe. Now to make the dough, I'm taking 3/4 of a cup of whole wheat flour and 1/4 of a cup of plain flour or maida. I'm adding a pinch of salt and mixing the flour and the salt well. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of oil and I'm going to mix everything really well till you're able to hold the flour in your hand like this. Then you're going to add little water at a time. So I might have used about 4 to 5 tablespoons of water and make this dough into a nice firm yet elastic kind of dough. So keep kneading it for about a minute or so and then just leave it aside or to rest for 5 minutes. After that, we're going to dust our surface with a little bit of the flour and coat the dough with the flour. And now you're going to roll it into 1-inch thickness like this, into a big square like this. You should be able to lift the dough. See, that doesn't stick to the surface. Then I'm going to use my pizza cutter, or you can use a knife and just cut it into a square shape. You don't throw off the dough, that sides, you can use that again. Reuse it to make more samosas. So now I've got 3 even sized patties. Now I'm going to cut them into halves. Now I'm going to take one tip and bring it to the edge like that, and then again like that. Seal this part which I'm pressing down, and then just take it in the palm of your hand like this. Fill it up with this kheema. Now I'll leave a link to this kheema recipe in the description box as well as the comment section. And then just push the kheema down, apply some water to the top triangle like this, and then just fold it over tightly and seal the samosa. Now we're going to be deep frying this, so this shouldn't open, otherwise all the kheema will go into the oil. It will be a fiasco. So seal it nicely so that there's no opening, no loose ends. Take your time with it. So with this amount of dough, I got about 12 samosas of this size. Now you can make these samosas, freeze them in your freezer and fry them whenever you want. It lasts for a month in the freezer and for about say 3 or 4 days in the normal fridge. So like this, make the samosas, and then all you have to do is just deep fry them till they're nice and golden brown in color. Now I could have left the kheema recipe at the end of the video, but then the video becomes very long. So I'll leave a link below, as well as at the end of the video you will see a screen with the kheema on it. Just click on it and it will take you directly to the kheema recipe. So enjoy this lovely samosas with some ketchup or chutney and enjoy it. They're nice and crispy and the inside is amazingly delicious. Let me open up one for you and show you. Oh, I can't wait to dig in. So friends, let's make today's delicious Goan prawn rissois. For that, I'm going to make a white sauce first. So in a pan, I'm going to heat 1 tablespoon of butter. When the butter melts, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of plain flour or maida. And then I'm going to use 1 cup of milk, but I'm going to add just a little at a time till this sauce starts to thicken. Once this is done, just set it aside in a bowl. Now we're going to prepare the prawn filling. So here I'm heating 1 tablespoon of oil in a pan. Once the oil is nice and hot, I'm going to add the prawns. So I'm using 3/4 of a cup of prawns. So these are big prawns. I've just cut them up into little smaller pieces, so it's easier to eat when you bite into the rissois. So now just fry the prawns for about a minute till they turn, into a little pinkish color, and then just take them out into a bowl and set them aside. Now in the same oil, I'm going to fry, I've taken 8 cloves of garlic and chopped them really fine. I'm going to fry this garlic really well till the rawness of the garlic goes away. Then I'm going to add 1 green chili, which I've chopped fine, and fry the chili really well till it starts to turn a little bit on the whiter side. Next, I'm going to add 1 small onion that I've chopped fine. Once the onion is a little translucent, we're going to add the fried prawns back into this bagar. Fry everything well together, or mix everything well together. Now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of pepper powder and some salt to taste. Mix all of this really well. And now we're going to add the white sauce that we had prepared, or the bechamel sauce that we had prepared. We're going to add that back and just mix it in well with the prawns. Now we want this to be a dry mixture, so just cook it for about a minute, and then you're going to transfer it into a bowl and cool it completely to room temperature. Now I'm just going to put the heat off and add some grated cheese. So with the residue heat, the cheese is going to melt. And once you mix everything well together, just transfer it to a bowl, set it aside, let it cool to room temperature, and then only we can make the lovely prawn rissois. Now I'm going to make the dough. So here I have half a cup of plain flour or maida, half a tablespoon of butter, 1/4 cup of water, and 1/4 cup of milk, and a little salt to taste. So now in my pan, I'm going to add the water, I'm going to add the milk and the butter. And we're going to mix all these 3 ingredients really well together till the butter melts into the liquid. Then I'm just going to add a pinch of salt. Again, mix the salt in well. And then I'm going to add this plain flour, and using a whisk, I'm just going to mix everything well together. You're going to mix this till it starts leaving the sides of the pan, and cook it for 1 minute. After that, transfer it onto a plate and let it cool a little, and then just add a few drops of butter or clarified butter or ghee, and then just knead it into a very soft and elastic dough. Now I'm just going to take the dough, and I'm just going to roll it out onto my rolling board. You don't need to dust it with any flour because it's very easy to work with. This dough is very elastic and very easy to work with. And then using a regular vati, or you can use any mold, just cut them into even size rounds. Once that is done, just add the filling in the center. Don't overfill it or don't underfill it. And then just apply a little bit of water to one half of the circle, and then just lift the other half, seal it up really well. So in this way you can prepare all of them. See that you seal it really well, because we are going to deep fry them, and if it is not sealed properly, or if it had some cracks or it breaks, then it will open up in the oil. So be extremely careful about that. Take your time with it if you're a beginner. But this dough is so easy to work with. It's very, very elastic. It doesn't crack, it doesn't break. Just knead it well in the beginning. And now these are all ready. Now just to be doubly sure, I'm just going to take a fork and seal it, or just press it down, making a design as well as sealing it so it doesn't open up in the oil. And now I'm just beaten up 1 egg, and I've got some breadcrumbs. I'm just going to dip each of them into the beaten egg as well as the breadcrumbs and set them aside. Keep your oil for heating on a low to medium flame, and then all you're going to do is just deep fry these lovely rissois till they're nice and golden brown, and then just drain the excess oil and enjoy this with some lovely ketchup or some sauce. I hope you give this recipe a try. So friends, let's start with today's easy to make kheema patties recipe. Now we're going to start by making the kheema first. So in a pan I've heated about 1 tablespoon of oil and I've added 1 medium sized onion that I've chopped fine. Now I'm going to fry the onion well till it turns translucent. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste. If you're making the paste, then use 1 inch of ginger and 6 cloves of garlic. Make a fine paste. Now fry everything well till the rawness of the ginger and the garlic goes away. Next, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of pepper powder. I've just roasted the peppercorns and ground them to a fine powder in my mixer pot. Now I'm going to add 200 grams of chicken mince. Now here what I've done is I've taken the chicken breast and then I've really made it very fine with a very sharp knife and then ran it through my mixer, but otherwise you can use the ready-made chicken mince too. Now I'm going to cover and cook this for about 2 minutes. Next, I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of coriander powder. I've done the same thing. I've taken the coriander seeds and roasted them and then ground them to a fine powder. So you can make this in a big batch and keep it in your kitchen pantry and use it whenever you require. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of cumin powder. Same thing, roast the cumin seeds well or the jeera and then, grind it to a fine powder and transfer it to a nice glass bottle. So it's always good to have, these powders really handy, like pepper powder, coriander powder and jeera powder. So you can make them at home instead of buying the ready-made one. So now I'm going to mix everything really, really well. And I'm going to cook this till the chicken turns, into a nice white color. Now I'm going to add some salt to taste. Now this is the normal way I make, kheema at home. This is 1 tablespoon of meat masala. It's a very easy recipe for kheema. You can, have kheema pav. You can make a kheema paratha out of it. Now I'm going to add half a teaspoon of haldi powder, 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, and again mix everything well and fry everything well. Now I'm just going to add about 3/4 of a cup of water, because now we want to cook the kheema really well and let all of these lovely masalas really flavor the kheema really, really well. So for that we add a little water and then we cover and cook it on a very low flame for 10 minutes at least. Now after 10 minutes your kheema is all ready. You can see that all the water has evaporated and the aroma of the kheema is really great. Now I've just transferred it to a bowl and set it aside. Now I'm going to dust my surface with some flour and I'm going to roll out my puff pastry. Now again I'm using ready-made puff pastry. I'll leave a recipe for homemade puff pastry in the description box below. Now I'm going to cut off the edges and just form it into a square and then cut 4 equal parts. Then I'm going to take my kheema, which has cooled down by now, and just add it to half of the square. Then I'm going to put the other half on top and seal off the edges. Now you can cut off the edges, all the excess. Now I've just greased my pan with my baking tray with some butter, and I've also preheated my oven to 180 degrees Celsius. 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. So you can do that, while you're shaping up the pattices. You can put your oven on preheat. See that the edges are sealed, otherwise when you're baking it all the kheema will come out. So ensure that the edges are nice and sealed and place them at a little bit of a distance because they do puff up a bit. Now I'm just going to give them an egg wash. So all I've done is I've just taken one egg, beaten it really well, and using my silicone brush, I'm just going to brush it on top. This will give the patties a beautiful golden color, golden brown color. So things you have to keep in mind is preheat your oven. And now I'm just going to bake them at 180 degrees Celsius or 360 degrees Fahrenheit for a good 15 to 20 minutes, depending upon, your oven. Once they're nice and golden brown, let them cool completely. And once they are cool, just enjoy them. They're nice and crispy and light. So I hope you like this recipe, and I do hope you do try out this recipe. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I would love to hear from all of you. So friends, let's see today's lovely recipe of custard tarts. Now I'm just going to dust my surface with flour, and I'm going to roll out this puff pastry. Now I'm using a ready-made puff pastry, but I will leave a link of how to prepare this. Now I'm going to grease a muffin tin with some butter. I'm going to take any round object like a vati, or if you have a kind of a mold, and just cut them up into 6 rounds. Then I'm going to place them into my muffin holder. Just ensure that the pastry is in line with the muffin holder. It shouldn't be too much outside or too, halfway. It shouldn't be halfway through the muffin. It should be exactly touching the tip of the muffin holder. And just dab down the bottom or the base of the pastry. And we're going to set this aside. Now we're going to prepare the filling, which is a custard filling. Now for that, I've used 1 1/4 cup of milk, 2 eggs, 3/4 cup of powdered sugar, that is sugar just run in my mixer and made into a powder, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder, half a teaspoon of vanilla essence, and 2 tablespoons of corn flour. Now I'm going to take a non-stick pan. I'm going to add the eggs, and I'm going to beat the eggs really well. So you can directly put all your ingredients into the pan in which you're going to cook the custard. You don't need to put it into a separate bowl and then add it over here. Then I'm going to add the vanilla essence. I'm going to add the cinnamon powder. And I'm going to whisk all of this very, very well. Next, I'm going to add the powdered sugar. So you can use icing sugar for this, or you can just take regular sugar and blend it in your mixer and add it. Now let all of the sugar nicely dissolve. There should not be any lumps of sugar. Ensure that, and for that you can use a whisk. Next, I'm going to be adding in the milk. And again, mix everything really well together. Now last and but not the least, I'm going to add the corn flour, which is the thickening agent. And I'm going to mix everything so that the mixture is lump free. We don't want any lumps in this mixture. Now I'm going to place the mixture on the gas top on a very low to medium flame and continuously whisk it till the mixture thickens, but it shouldn't be so thick that I cannot pour it. So it should be thick enough but of a pourable consistency. So the minute the mixture starts coating the back of your spoon, then means your mixture is ready. It shouldn't be too runny or it shouldn't be too thick. It should be like a porridge consistency which can be poured. Because now we're going to run this mixture through a sieve or a strainer. And then, so you can see all of the whatever was, the cinnamon which was not ground properly or whatever remains back. And then I'm just going to pour this mixture into these puff pastries. At this time, I would preheat my oven to 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. Always preheat your oven. And then I'm going to bake this at 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes. It all depends on your oven, so keep checking them. Once they become golden brown like this, once they're out of the oven, let them rest till they're completely cooled down before you demold them. And your lovely custard tarts are all ready. You can enjoy this with a lovely cup of tea or coffee.